kính phạt trì cung chính ta tơ san ting. Ta tơ is venerable. That's how we address the monks. Ta tơ in Chinese. We translate that as venerable with a capital V. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's continue with the Master YongHua's teachings during the Chanchi. But first, let's field a question from yesterday. Go ahead.
Rushu asks, as a Buddhist, is it wrong to look for a shaman to predict the future ahead of important decisions like marriage or changing jobs, etc.?
As a Buddhist, not a Buddha, Buddha don't need a shaman. Is it okay to look for a person who can give you predictions? If you wish, and there's nothing against the rules for seeking a prediction, but it's a personal decision. You can make a prediction. You can look for someone who can predict for you. However, those people who make predictions usually are for commercial purposes, and therefore the predictions tend to be not very accurate. So the people who can make predictions, but are for commercial reasons, I mean you have to pay them, or they're seeking something, then invariably the predictions are very limited and tend to be not dependable. The ones who can make predictions are without without seeking any benefit are the ones whose predictions are more accurate. However, if they are not seeking anything, they don't want to make predictions for you either. So it's up to you. If it gives you peace of mind to seek predictions, fine, go for it. But don't take it literally. Personally, if instead of worrying about predictions, I would pray the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for my wish to be fulfilled. Okay, that is more important. That is more effective than looking for predictions. All right, and that's number one. Number two is that I personally don't worry about the future. I don't worry that the future will be as I wish, because part of the wonders of life is to learn to cope with things as they come up. And that's part of growth. That's part of developing wisdom. Just because you have a glimpse of the future doesn't necessarily going to be that way. So, for example, in the past, someone came and asked Magayana, who is number one in spiritual penetration among Shakyamuni Buddha's disciples, Arhat disciples. And he says, Venerable Magayana will reign tomorrow. And Mahamoggallana got into his enter samadhi and says, no, it won't rain tomorrow. Apparently the temple was trying to do something, was planning to do something tomorrow, so they need to prepare for the rain. So Mahamoggallana opened his eyes and says, okay, it won't rain tomorrow. And the day, the tomorrow came, the tomorrow day came, and it rained. So those lay people were very, very upset. They came to Shakyamuni Buddha and said, "We're honored one, your disciple lied. He told an untruth to us yesterday. He said it wouldn't rain." So the Shakyamuni Buddha said, no, he wasn't lying to you. When he looked and give you a prediction that it wouldn't rain, it wouldn't rain. It turns out the conditions changed after he took a look. And the conditions changed, and someone wanted it to rain, so it had to rain. So you see, instead of worrying so much about the future, worry about doing the right things and worry and have no worries. Just learn to face the situation. All right? You too.
Elta Diaz, should we learn to use I Ching?
I Ching too is pretty good. I Ching, there are some people who are very good with I Ching, and they give you predictions as well, and sometimes they're very helpful. But again, to me, the accuracy of I Ching is dependent on a lot of factors. The skills of the person who does I Ching, and external factors as well. So just because you see it happening doesn't mean it will be the case. Quite often, the people who can do I Chings are very accurate. Most of the time, it's the time they're not accurate that that will be not useful to you. So again, if you want to learn I Ching, it has some Buddhist wisdoms there that are useful. But when I did I Ching, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So in the end, I said, I Ching is just for fun. To me, okay. Again, if you go back to the story, the example of the rain, last minute changes will always occur. So that's why in Buddhism, in our world, nothing is cast in concrete until the very last moment. Expect the unexpected. That's all. Okay? It's just that we shouldn't walk around with these beliefs that we know what's going to happen next, what's happen in the future. That's not a healthy thing to do. Instead, if you open your wisdom, okay, then you can handle any type of events that's going to happen in the future. Until you become a Buddha, things can change unexpectedly for you. So it's no point. So what about the Buddha? He knows everything's going to happen. Yes, that's the ultimate wisdom right there. It's way beyond I Ching, way beyond those shamans and so forth. And you see, that's the kind of thing we are gravitating towards. You want that kind of wisdom that that anyone can develop, everyone can develop. And the impediments to that wisdom development is the development of that type of wisdom is the reliance on the easing and all those things. Okay, so it's fun, it's okay, but it's a good icebreaker for a conversation and so forth. But it's still, you need to be aware of its limitations. Why? Is it limited? Why is it limited? The limitations originates from the fact that the person who makes the prediction is limited. As long as that person is limited, any tool they use is also limited. So I feel that all these things and these people who make claims and can see things and tell you about things and so forth, I'm not impressed. Okay? And the Asians, Buddhists would love to tell these stories like, Anchu Gao that we've been talking. He said, I have to go to China and pay off the debts and so forth. Good for you. Okay? I'm a kind of a happy-go-lucky guy, so if someone tells me, can foresee the future and tells me in the dream, so forth, I say, oh, wow, that's cool. So I do have some time, it's coming up, so I need to prepare for it. If they don't tell me, I still do my things. Okay? And it turns out that sometimes, even though you don't care, they have to come and tell you in advance for you to prepare and do what you're supposed to do. So don't worry about it, honestly. Okay. Worry about cleansing yourself, become a better person. That's much more important than spending time thinking about what's going to happen in the future. That, to me, is pettiness. What are you afraid of? Okay? You know what the song says, don't you? Que sera, sera. Not funny. You guys are so uncultured. That's the story of my life. I love the Western culture, and I lecture to a bunch of Asians who are totally uncultured. Okay, shoot.
所以以后啊，他到了中国，在这个安息国到中国来的人呢，都知道啊。 这一位大德高僧啊，是个有道德的。
So later, when he went to China, everybody who came to China from Persian all knew this venerable eminent monk was virtuous.
他的父亲呢，是 一个国王，所以一般的做买卖的人呢，还都想得到啊他的这种势力的帮助。
His father was an emperor, So ordinary business people all wanted to gain from this type of power.
No, not power, it's influence. Okay, the influence that the people in the courts and the royal families, the members, would have over the course of things. Okay, and speaking of influence and so forth, and foreseeing the future. For example, I don't look at the future. I worry about what I need to do the best way I can, given what I know. Okay, so I don't sit here and say, okay, let me look at the future. I don't. Okay, I look at what I have in my hand and I say, how do I maximize it? What do I need? What am I supposed to do? Okay, given these things are happening right now around me, what am I supposed to do? Okay, that's all. Right. My disciples would, and quite often when it happens, I make mistakes. Okay, many mistakes. Even my close disciples laugh at me and say, "Oh, Master, you were conned," and so forth. When you make mistakes, bad things happen to you. Okay, that's just life. Even to the point, my own loyal disciples are laughing at me. "Oh, Master, I thought you had wisdom, but actually you have none. You can be fooled so easily by people." I said, "Yeah, you're right. I was fooled by these people." So you make a mistake, you pay. That's part of life. What makes life interesting is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All you have is try your best. Okay? And it turns out the mistake I made actually sometimes are more painful than they're supposed to be. Like this lawyer here when I had this crisis at Lu Mountain Temple, this lawyer that I naively believe, and he conned me out of $88,000 I didn't have. Okay, so yes, I had to pay the price for all those things. But when you pay those prices, there's a lesson that you learn that you wouldn't otherwise learn. So that's I made a mistake the beginning of last year, around this time of last year, where I exercised and drained myself. For some reason, some stupid reason, I decided to drain myself. No reserves left, and because of that, I became very sick. Okay, very sick. For months, for 2 months. I was bedridden for 2 months. It was so bad that it's like, it was so painful. It's like, I was told this, that similar to what Master YongHua experienced towards the end of his life. It was like someone took a jackhammer and hit my spine constantly, day and night. Okay? There's no hiding from that. No matter what you do, the pain is intense. And on top of it, we have the tools where we cross our legs and we can bear the storms. But couldn't even cross my legs at all. Had no strength whatsoever for 60 days. Was bedridden. And even couldn't eat anything. All I could do is drink for the first 40 days. Just drank, and that's it. Couldn't eat anything because the moment I ate anything, I would vomit. There's no way to keep food. And it was thirsty the whole 60 days. Okay, so it was so bad that I had no strength whatsoever. You know, I drank, and the whole big gulp size from 7-Eleven, I would drink it in a few minutes, and half an hour later, I have to go, you know? Couldn't even get up. For me to get up, I need to have my nun pull me up slowly, and I have to sit there for a few minutes, and then get some help just to stand up. Okay? And then I stood up, and then I have to walk slowly, bit by bit, okay? Out the door, to the bathroom, sat down. Okay? And so, it's no strength whatsoever. So, we're very interesting. The first time in my life was like to be able to experience this kind of near-death experience for months. And I couldn't do anything. No strength to do anything for 60 days. And it's not funny, let me assure you. The pain is so unbearable. And that's when you just lie there waiting to die or something can happen. And no one can do anything for me. And I wouldn't pray for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for help either. Okay, I say, if it's time for me to die, let me die. Okay, and I will let my children, kill each other over the inheritance. It will be my last laughs. Their inheritance. So anyway. But so after that, somehow I survived. Somehow people came and helped this and helped that, and eventually I survived. And through that experience, a lot more things happened, and it turns out I learned so much from that experience that, to me, looking back, is well worth it. Okay. Every time I fail miserably, there's such an important lesson I learned. You see, so if I could see the future and I could avoid it, like right now, if that happens to me again, I'm not sure I want to try to do it again. But if it does happen to me again, I think I would have an antidote for it. I would have figured out. I figured out what I could do next time. You see, so as always, you have to pay the price for every single lesson. That's my attitude. Okay. If I could foresee that I would be sick, I would not have drained myself that way, then I would never be able to learn those lessons. And in fact, after that sickness, I decided to shift gear and go and increase my samadhi in order to do more work, because I decided it's not time to die yet, so I have to do more work. And to do more work, I have to have more samadhi power, more strength. You see? So you go all the bottom, all the way to the bottom of your strength, and then it swings back the other way. You see that? My point being that whatever is terrible things that happen to you, if you survive it, it goes the other way. Am I making sense to you? No? Well, someday you understand. And so many good things happen after that. Traitors surfaced. Backstabbers surfaced. Okay, continue.
所以不称他这个安世高的名字，还叫他叫安侯。这侯就是公百王侯、诸侯那个侯。
So they called him. They didn't call his name An Shi Gao, but called him Lord An. They called him Lord An.
叫他叫安侯，这是这个当时一位大德的高僧。
Called him Lord An. This was one great, venerable, virtuous, eminent monk at that time.
我想在这个打禅期的时候，讲这个参禅的道理。
Then I thought, during this period of Chanqi, to talk about this principle of investigating Chan.
讲得太深，人听得不懂；讲得太浅，人听得没有意思。
If I talk too profoundly, the audience won't understand. If I talk too shallow, the audience will be bored.
You see, can I make a comment here? People used to call An Shigao Lord An, An Hou in Chinese, in China, okay? And a lot of people call him that because he's some sort of part of royalty, and therefore they wanted to recognize him as a monk with royal connections, okay? Apparently, An Shigao never said anything, you see, because for us monks, to call us Lord or something like that is actually a demotion. So An Shigao never really paid attention to those things. Okay, but people of the world, they didn't know any better. They thought it's a form of praise or recognition for him. But he's a monk. He's done with the royal family, the royal intrigue. So why would you want to be called as a Lord An or Lord Monk? That's nonsense. Okay, that's what that happens. You live in the world. The worldly customs are such that people act a certain way, and of course, even back then, they didn't understand that to call him as a Lord An is actually an insult. It's a demotion. All right? It's okay. No big deal.
所以我选出来几个这个过去的高僧，讲给你们大家听一听。这第一个讲的一个是安世高。
So I selected a few past venerable eminent monks to tell you all. The first monk I talked about was An Shigao.
那么前几天又讲这个维养的祖师灵佑禅师。
Then a few days ago, I also talked about the first Weiyang patriarch, Chan Master Ling You.
或者过几天，我看哪一个和你们大家有缘呢，就给你们介绍一下，你们不要错过这个机会。
Or a few days later, I will see which one has affinity with you. I can introduce him to you. You should not miss this opportunity.
这是可以说是没有什么机会你们能听见呢，这个过去这些高僧这种的因缘。
You can say that there are not many opportunities for you to hear this. This is the causation of those venerable eminent monks from the past.
这是一个很好的机会啊！也想认识这些高僧呢，就不要失去这个机会。
Then this is a very good opportunity. If you would like to learn about these eminent monks, do not miss out this opportunity.
我有一件事情和你们各位讲一讲。咱们现在就是买了一个道场，选摘了一个道场，这也不一定是买的。
One more thing to tell you. We now purchased a way place, chose a way place, but this was not necessarily purchased.
是佛菩萨送给那么在这个菩萨佛送给我们这个道场，
It was just gifted to us by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Then these Bodhisattvas and Buddhas gifted us this way place.
我们就要送给佛菩萨一点辛苦。什么辛苦呢？
Then we should gift the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for their hard work. What gift?
就是大家来做护法，出家人来弘扬佛法。
This is everybody to be the Dharma protector, left home people to propagate the Buddha Dharma.
在家人你就要护持佛法。不是每一个人说是我。
Lay people, you should protect and uphold the Buddha Dharma. Not everybody says.
这一生就是或者吃一点、穿一点、住一点，就完了。我这一生的事情就做圆满。
My life is just eat some or dress some, live some. Then it's over. The matter of my life is complete.
咱们人到这个世界来，就是要对这个世界要有益处，要帮助世界人。
We people came to this world. We should benefit this world. We should help the people of this world.
我们帮助世界人，怎么样帮助呢？就要建立道场，造这个道场。
Then how to help the people of this world? We should build way places. Build way places.
这个道场越多越好，越大越好。
The more way places, the better. The bigger the way places, the better.
你不要怕这个道场多，也不要怕这个道场大。
You don't need to be afraid of too many way places. Also, you don't need to be afraid of way places being too big.
这个道场越多，众生越生信心也生得多。道场大呢，这个影响力也大。
The more the way places, the more the living beings will bring forth faith. The bigger the way place, the more it influences.
一般的人到这儿他看你这么个小地方这个装到眼睛里都可以把你这个道场装得下
Then ordinary people come here, see such a small place. They can fit it in their eyes. Even in their eyes, they can fit this way place.
要是看见你这个道场大，他这个肚皮都装不下你这个道场。
If they see this way place is very big, so big that even their belly can't fit this way place.
他就生信心了我要来到这儿来恭敬礼拜呀。
He would then bring forth faith. They would like to come here to respectfully bow.
你们护法的人现在是我的皈依弟子我对你们都要。
You who protect the Dharma, now are my disciples who took refuge. I want you all to
Stop. So the master, the great master YongHua says that in his thinking, he wants to have as many way places as possible, as big way places as possible. Because, why? Because he says that the more places where people can come, the more people can bring forth the faith. Okay? So, what do you think? You have to understand, you have to look back and see how it was like back then. He came into this country with no support, nothing whatsoever. Okay? So, he's the kind of monk who wouldn't go around asking to do fundraisings or ask for rich people to support him. He said himself, he didn't like rich people. Okay? So if you declare you don't like rich people, then rich people don't like you. That's just life. Okay? And so, but he had very little support. So his support came from a small people, practically. Okay? So he would build way places so that, because there's really no Mahayana way places. When he first came to the U.S. in 1960s and 70s. Very few Mahayana way places. So that's why he says, my goal is to build way places. Okay? And so that's what happened. He built, he started very small in Chinatown in San Francisco, and then he purchased, a lot of people came when he started teaching, and a lot of people came, so they had to buy another way place. That's what he's talking about in this tonight. And so then he further elaborated, he wanted to build a lot of way places. So by the time he died, he had a lot of way places. They purchased a lot of properties, many of which are just land. 1,000 acres here and there, everywhere. They own a lot of properties. He owned a lot of properties, but he left with around 30 way places, actually properties that actually are way places where people actually go there and can cultivate and bow to the Buddhas and so forth throughout the world. So he accomplished his purposes, built a lot of way places to help people bring the faith. All right? So at least these people would come to way places, and as what he said, they will go to these places, they will bring forth the faith. That's very good. So it turns out that the people who went to his way places actually developed the faith. They really are very devoted to him. Just like his disciples, his both left home and lay people disciples are very devoted to propagating the Buddha Dharma, the proper Dharma. This is a very, very good thing. Okay, so he's very successful in that sense. That the starting point is that you need to have way places for people to go. So, for example, I myself first went to Long Beach Monastery by default because I couldn't find a Vietnamese meditation teacher. I missed him. He wasn't there when I went to his temple, so my Dharma protector brought me to Long Beach Monastery, and I met with Master YongHua disciples, Master Heng Te, who taught me meditation. He taught meditation his style, not Master YongHua style, unfortunately. So, but I followed it, and for a few months, and I dropped it. I said it didn't work, and stopped working for me, so I dropped it. Being a Western educated person, I'm a mercenary. If it doesn't work, I drop it. Okay, but the availability of Master YongHua's Dharma at Long Beach Monastery and I bought some books on got me started. And then later, I went to Venerable Heng Te told me to memorize the ceremony, so I memorized it, and I went to Goldville Monastery, okay, and so forth. So yes, to have a way place where people can come is very helpful at developing faith. My faith increased little bit by little bit, okay? The more you go, the more the faith increases. Agree, disagree? Okay? But it has limitations. Because now, after 25 years after he passed away, they have probably a few more way places that were offered to them because of the momentum from his disciples wanting to help contribute more way places to more way places. But the problem is that the faith no longer increased. They believe in Master YongHua's program, but they didn't believe in his disciples' programs. See that? And so I feel that Master YongHua gave us all of us a very good start at Mahayana, at developing Mahayana and starting Mahayana to help it take root in this country. But I feel that in my generation, we need to develop people. There's no point in developing more way places when they remain empty and they remain half-utilized. Okay? Mahayana is really not a way places. Way places is for as a starting point is okay, but these people have been coming for all this time to his way places. After he left, they no longer are developing. They actually started criticizing his disciples of being too money hungry, not doing the jobs. So that's why, in my humble opinion, We cannot continue to do the same thing in our generation, my generation, your generation. We need to take more seriously the training of the people, both lay people and left home people. Way places to me are for not only developing initial faith, it is for developing the continuing development of faith that has to grow stronger and stronger and stronger, not stagnate. Because they believe, my generation, we believe in our teacher. But the third generation of Mahayana, they don't believe in us anymore. They're not impressed by us anymore. And then if we continue to build more way places, it really is not useful at all. What do you think? Jewel Mountain has a question.
Jewel Mountain asks, Venerable Heng Lai and Heng Shi had strong Gong Fu. Why is it that it didn't increase their faith?
I don't know. Faith is increased. Because how is faith increased? Okay. Maybe Venerable Xianzhen can share with us the story of how she coached her son doing the homework recently. I mean, I heard it a few days ago. Tell us the story and how, what happened.
So Master, my son has been struggling with school because of the pandemic and they have to study online. And with the kid, 10 years old kid, it's really a struggling thing. Not only my son, but I heard a lot of kids went through the struggling. And they struggle a lot. And then they have a hard time follow the school schedule. The teacher cannot monitor them, and then they put a lot of pressure on the parents, and the parents become very stressful.
Stressed out.
So I have to spend a lot of time helping him with homework, but his comprehension is limited. Doesn't matter how much I try to explain to him in a different way, he still cannot get it. So finally, I give up. I say, how about you recite the Buddha's name? And particularly recite Medicine Master Buddha's name.
So, by the way, the subject matter is mathematics. In particular, it's mathematics, not just anything.
So I tell him, stop. Do not think anymore. Just take a break and recite the Buddha's name. And I give him the beats and say, how about you recite the full route of 108? And he just 1/3 of it, and then he throw the beats away. He say, oh, I know what to do. And then he start writing the answer.
And the answer is correct?
The answer is correct.
And then what happened?
And from then on, he doesn't need to rely on me anymore. So when he struggled, he recite the Buddha's name, and then he say, Mommy, recite Buddha's name with me.
So he says, he instead of believing in you, he developed faith in Medicine Master Buddha. Is it fair to say so?
Yes, to him that is the miracle from Medicine Master Buddha.
You see, that's a typical example how faith is developed. How else? All right? Is it clear? Faith increases because of responses. If no response, no faith. So, for my generation, to help increase your faith, we can't depend on you praying to Master YongHua and praying to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. You could try that, okay? And sometimes it works. Yes? I'm telling you right now, sometimes it works. And a few times it doesn't work. Okay? You don't know why. I'm not going to tell you why not. Okay? But the point being that if my generation, we can simply tell you, just recite the Buddha's name and recite Master YongHua's name and so forth, then aren't we abdicating our responsibilities? You should try to help ourselves. And that's how people develop faith in my generation, by doing something, by helping others, not just riding off our ancestors, our parents, our teachers, coattails. And you fail to do that, then people's faith not only will not increase, actually will decrease. Because we are representatives of the second generation of this Mahayana Sangha, and therefore we have to do our jobs as Sanghas of the second generation. We can't keep on depending on hiding under the umbrella of the prior generations. That's what's supposed to happen. And the results speak for themselves. If faith does not increase, then it's our fault. Now I walked a sleepy dragon, green.
Mô Phật và Thầy, mình làm cha mẹ đó thì ít, theo con nghĩ, con đi cái xã hội cũng rất là lớn, ít có khi nào mà cha mẹ kêu con để niệm Phật, để lại Phật hết trơn á, không bao giờ có. Ít lắm, 10 người chỉ có 1, 2 người thôi. Muốn con học giỏi để kiếm tiền để xã hội có danh có tiếng thôi. Mà tất cả ai nào mà thấy cái đời khổ như vậy đó phải nhắc nhủ những con cháu phải gắng tu, gắng niệm Phật, trồng cái nhân cho những đời sau con cháu này đó, thì có thể hy vọng con cháu nó sẽ phát triển dữ lắm. Mô Phật.
So, Master, from my observation, nowadays, rarely I see parents teach children to recite Buddha's name. They always focus on successful, famous in life, but then they have to teach the children whenever they suffer, they need to recite the Buddha's name to plant the good seed for future.
Absolutely. The parents, you parents should pay attention. These are the kind of knowledge that I wished I was given when I was younger by my parents, that they would encourage us to know these things like meditate, recite the Buddha's name, and so forth. Okay? And and eventually the rest of our lives, we have plenty of opportunities to depend on these tools and this knowledge. Okay? When I was younger, when I was going to high school, I was cramming for the final year-end examination. You cram for months, okay? And you can cram per day. And somehow I had to drink coffee, I had, stay up late and burn the midnight oil and all those things. And someday I said, this is it, I can't take it anymore. So I started, guess what? Meditating. Okay? Didn't know what meditation was. I said, I have to meditate. I have to empty my mind. It's so full. Okay? So I wish someone had trained me about Chan and all those things. I had some Chan skills, so it would be so much better off. Okay, so the point is well taken. It's the parents who never gave those opportunities to their children. Okay, so seize the opportunity, parents, to encourage your children to do something for themselves. Okay, that is to learn to pray. Because listen, at some point in your life, you will be at the end of your rope. And what do you have left? But reach out to someone who's beyond you. God, Allah, whoever. I pray to Allah, I pray to God. Didn't help, but I prayed. Because when you're desperate, that's all you have left. You pray, you beg, okay? That's just life. And if you prayed and you get some responses, that's how faith develops. All right? So don't be afraid to get in trouble again. Okay? It's okay to get in trouble. Don't try to avoid trouble all the time. Then you're just a weakling. Okay? Getting in trouble is not pleasant, but it also has the reverse effects, the reverse benefit of making you stronger and help you develop your wisdom. Okay, now, the story behind that story is that Xianzhen was exasperated. He says, I can't help you. I'm giving up. Why don't you pray to the Buddha? Okay, and when she said that, she actually helped him pray to the Buddhas. And that's why her son's head cleared up quickly before he finished the rosaries, the beads. You see, there's a change that occurred. Okay, and it couldn't have come from the boy himself; it came from her. Of course, you guys don't understand that. I hear the story, I heard the story, that's what happened. But I didn't say anything. Because my point is that her generation must develop the skills, the ability to help people. So as a result, okay, then the people who receive help will develop faith. What my master didn't explain here in his tape, he said you just build these way places. No, way places do not increase faith. You go to these way places and your faith increases because of the people who were there, not because of the way places. Is it clear? This is why, this is how the Chinese teach their people, their children. Just build way places, increase faith. We for the West, especially many of you are skeptics and are too smart, too scientific. That's why it behooves upon me to point out to you those responses came because of the people who were there, holding these people's hands, talking to these people. Trust me, it's not a way place. Is it clear? It's you, it's the people, not the way places. I beg to differ with my master. My master says, build a lot of way places. I saw a lot of way places, but the people continue to go to those way places went because they're loyal to Master YongHua. And their faith no longer increase because they receive no more responses. Green.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, bởi vì con tới đây để con tới cái chùa của thầy này, thầy đó, thầy có một cái khuyên, một cái ấn tượng cho họ rất là lớn. Đó, thầy từ ngài Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa tới đây đó, thầy mình gần Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa thì thấy những người đó thì không có mấy gì có cảm tình. Thì con tới đây để con thấy được thầy đó, là thầy luôn luôn lúc nào cũng kêu người ta để trồng một cái phước giảng sanh, đó là cái này thầy đó để dạy chúng con để được trồng được cái phước này. Thì tụi con cũng hy vọng đó, ai nào cũng nghe được phải làm những cái câu chuyện này, mai mốt mình mới được thành công, mới được đi giảng sanh. Bởi vì thầy cứ khuyên cứ làm trồng cái phước giảng sanh, mà ngài sư phụ cũng có nữa, Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa chỉnh cũng có nữa. Mà mình thấy ở chỉnh nó ăn nói đồ này kia, giống mình không có mấy gì có cái nhân duyên gì đó, mình nghe mình cũng thích lắm, mà mình không có nhân duyên. Thì con mới cầu sư phụ giúp cho con gặp được một người thầy rất là cho ngọ có cái ấn tượng rất là tốt. Thì tự gặp được thầy thì thầy không có tôi ở đây tôi thấy thầy đó thì mình cũng thấy.
Anyone a $100 bill? Can I borrow a $100 bill from someone, please?
Thì cái thầy con thích nhất là thầy cứ kêu người ta để trồng cái phước giảng sanh là
This is
con
worth
là rất là thích
$100.
một cái câu đó thôi chứ không có cái câu nào hết chứ. Bây giờ con đi cũng tất cả là cũng đi thế giới ta bà cũng rộng lắm, mà không ai dám nói một cái câu này, chỉ có thầy kêu chúng sanh mà trồng cái phước giảng sanh là mình có một ngày hy vọng được đi giảng sanh. Mua phân.
Okay, translation. Just don't go away. Let me check. Don't go away.
Master, when I first
Okay,
came to
it's
your
a real
temple,
bill. Give it to her. This is what the cashiers at the grocery store always do to me.
Tiền của thầy đâu, nhận cái tâm của thầy thôi à.
So, Master, when I came to your temple, I am very impressed the way that you teach us, you advise us. Because I went to Master YongHua temple. I'm not very impressed with the other disciple, but I'm very impressed the way you advise us. You emphasize like we need to blend rebirth blessing, and blending rebirth blessing, you keep reminding us over and over. And then I hope that whoever listen, they will bring forth the faith and blend the rebirth blessing. Because I was praying to Master YongHua, help me to encounter a good teacher, and then I met you. I'm very impressed the way you teach us.
200. Give her 2. Yes, Christian.
Actually, I kind of agree with that lady over there.
You
But
do?
But at the same time, I mean, I'm very grateful with you that you also helped me increase the faith in my church, and I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you. My point is that each generation is supposed to do something to serve the people who go to the temple. We cannot, like your generation, you cannot depend on me to help the people who come in the future. You have, Master YongHua talked about you should protect the Dharma and so forth, and I'm trying to remind you, protecting the Dharma is about having the ability to protect and make a contribution. Okay? Contribution meaning that, I'm very happy that many of you are able to, to be willing to learn how to teach Chan meditation. Okay? And we developed a style, a technique of teaching Chan meditation in the last 10 years. Okay? Many of us, left home people as lay people, we started sharing the Chan, knowledge of Chan training techniques, okay, among ourselves and teach a lot of people. And it seems to help a lot of people. The point being that in order to protect the Dharma, you have to benefit others. You yourself have to benefit others. That's how you contribute. Okay? It's about you have to look into yourself and find out how you can contribute. When I first started, I wasn't sure I could teach Chan. I love Chan. I just said, I will share with you what I know. Because if you do what I did, you really will enjoy Chan. Okay? It's not from the books, it's from doing. It's not from someone else, it's from my personal experience. I had to do all those things. Because I was there to tell you, to hold your hands, to hold my disciples' hands. And then I taught them how to help others, the fourth generation, and the third generation. So that is no substitute for that. To me, way places are only secondary. It's you who are the way places, not the temples. So my attitude is slightly different from my master's. My master, he built his way places. I've been to several of his way places, and just like her, I was unimpressed. To the point where it's not about my saying I was unimpressed. The point that just like what the $200 lady put it, you feel you get something out of it. Okay? That you want to get more of it out of it. What happened to her is that she had the desire to help her mother go to the Pure Land. And she says, that's what I want first and foremost, is for my mother to go to the Pure Land. I said, yes, in that case, it's a very good place to do, good thing to do. Help your mother go to the Pure Land. So I help her prepare her mother to go to the Pure Land. Okay? And so forth. So it's practical, It's not, you can't keep on talking about way places. It's that what do you do for people? It's not the way places. I'm sorry. What are you doing? You eat a little bit less. Eat less rice so that we can give some rice bags and some noodles and stuff for others when they're hungry, when they don't have a job. Okay? That's what it's about. That's how you increase faith, by helping others. Yes, Green. $200. Now her new nickname is $200.
Mô Phật bạch Thầy, bởi vì mình nói tới là cha mẹ cũng là trên hết, cũng là cực khổ lắm, mới nuôi nắng được con cái rồi thành người rồi này kia. Thầy ai nào đó bây giờ nghe con để phát nguyện một cái lời này, ai nào muốn trả ơn cha mẹ đó phải làm sao mà giúp cho cha mẹ mình được đi giảng sanh, trồng được cái phước giảng sanh cho cha mẹ, là mình trả ơn được cha mẹ. Mình không cần cúng kiến đâu, giống tôi gì nè, không biết cúng kiến cha mẹ cái gì hết trơn á. Mình phải làm sao mà mình làm cho giúp được cho cha mẹ mình được đi một cái thế giới rất là tốt, rất là tốt. Cái này sư phụ cũng có nói đó, mà hồi đó mình cũng không mấy gì biết nhiều nữa thầy. Rồi bây giờ mình gặp được thầy đó thì mình quá xá là không biết kể cái cho nên, bởi vì con có giới thiệu người ta hoài, mình không biết làm sao mà cũng muốn là làm sao giới thiệu nữa. Nó rất là khó. Rồi mình muốn mà trả ơn cho cha mẹ mình, gắng làm sao mà giúp trồng cái phước được cho cha mẹ mình được giảng sanh, là mình trả được cái ơn đó rồi. Mình không cần đó là để cúng bái rồi này kia, không cần đâu thầy. Mô Phật. Cái tâm nguyện của con là gì nữa? Mình làm cha mẹ mình thấy mình rất là khổ. Bây giờ mình đó cũng làm cha mẹ người ta nữa nè. Mình cũng thấy rất là gánh, rất là khổ, rất là khổ.
Yeah,
Chứ
absolutely.
không phải là
You
cái
don't
chuyện
know how tough it is to be a parent until you become a parent yourself. Yes. Translation.
Master parents went through a lot to raise the children, so that's why the best way to pay back filiality is to help them blend the rebirth blessing and help them to go to the Pure Land. So once you can do it, you don't have to, what do you call, cúng kiến? You don't have to pray to them or offering incense or whatever.
You don't have to translate everything. It's okay to make offerings. Now her nickname is 150, no longer 200. Very good. Time is up. Let's not give her the microphone anymore. YouTube has a question and we have to go. YouTube.
Vicky asks, does the Dharma die when the master dies?
The master's Dharma lives in the disciples. That's what happens. So that's why in the Chan world, the Chan patriarchs cannot leave until they found a replacement. Okay, so that the Dharma lives on. So that's what happened to Master YongHua. He was dying, but he couldn't die. He had to wait for a replacement. Yes, Kath.
I have a question. I always hear the word Dharma door. I don't know what is that. Dharma door, something like that. And the next question is that how is for example, whenever you pass away, how are they gonna get your knowledge that you have, your disciples?
What's a Dharma door, right? First question, what's a Dharma door? Dharma door is a Buddhist term. Dharma, the door, is a door, okay? That opens and closes and lets people through. Dharma is the Dharma that acts like a door that can open the people to a new area they cannot see before. Just like when you open the door right there, and it enables you to see what's behind the door. So the Dharma doors are the Buddhist term. It says we have certain things that we teach you called the Dharma, and those things we learn actually act like a door that will bring you to a new world of wisdom, of understanding, okay, of being. So it's very specific. Thank you for the question. So in Buddhism, the Dharma door, the teaching has a purpose, is to bring you to new understanding, new faith, increase understanding, increase faith, not just status quo. It's not good enough for us. Okay? And what's number 2?
Number 2 was, when you die, how are you going to transmit the knowledge to your disciples? Or how can you transmit the knowledge?
First of all, since I survived last year, I'm in no hurry to die. If that's what you're alluding to. How do I make sure it passes on? I don't know yet. Chan, I'm not horribly worried about Chan. Okay, I'm a little bit worried about the Pure Land. Okay, Chan is trainable. Chan can be trained. Pure Land so far, I'm not sure it can be trained. Okay, So I still have a few more years to try to figure out how to train Pure Land. Okay, so this is to tell you, the Pure Land is what my master taught in his things, but the theory is what he taught. Okay, but what I discovered about Pure Land, the actual skills, is somehow I got them before. So his teachings only reminded me that confirmed those skills are for real. That's all. So, in other words, my Chan skills were developed through the Wei Yang lineage, but the Pure Land skills were sort of like given before. So I don't know how to transmit that. I have to figure it out. I got some clues already, but don't rush me. Because once I'm done transmitting all of everything, then I retire. That's my dream, retire and pass my golden years near the ocean. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Okay? See you next time.